this situation just got even more insane. As we know, the NBA is currently investigating the LA Clippers due to some backdoor deals done with Kawhi Leonard and the organization to get him some extra money in order to recruit him and keep him long-term with the LA Clippers organization. And now some even more crazy details have dropped in recent days, which has really taken a major turn in terms of Raptors fans' perspective on this whole entire situation, including a lot of stuff that involves the Toronto Raptors 2019 free agency, now what the NBA is doing in regards to their plans to combat this with Kawhi Leonard, including his contract getting voided with the LA Clippers, and that has led to a lot of speculation and reports about other teams getting interested in bringing in Kawhi Leonard if his contract is nullified with the LA Clippers. And that has not stopped Raptors fans from holding on and bringing up this dream of bringing Kawhi Leonard back to the city, to the team that he won an NBA championship with. So we'll break down whether or not it's a real possibility whatsoever, what's going on with the latest details and latest reporting on the situation, and how this whole saga just got even crazier. But before we dive into that, folks, I want to thank each and every single one of you that has been tuning into the content that we've been putting out over the summer. I've been on vacation for what feels like the past month now at this point, so appreciate you guys still checking out these vids here and there, but we are ready to ramp things up with the season just around the corner in a Raptors year. That should be very, very exciting. So if you guys are part of the 53% that have not hit that sub button just yet, make sure you guys hit that sub button because we have a lot of things in store for this upcoming season. But let's dive into this madness because, frankly, there is a lot of craziness going on with this whole Kawhi Leonard saga. So I broke a whole video on this. I won't repeat everything that I just said in the last video, but basically a report came out from Pablo Torre saying that Kawhi Leonard has reportedly signed a $28 million endorsement deal with a fraudulent tree planting company funded by LA Clippers owner Steve Ballmer to circumvent salary cap rules. And this was a whole ordeal. The NBA's, everyone's been on this like crazy, and we got some details about how this impacted the Toronto Raptors negotiations and everything like that, because the Raptors were, of course, a team that were trying to, incentivize Kawhi Leonard to stay. The entire city was getting involved, and basically there were some high demands from Kawhi's camp, specifically Uncle Dennis, to bring him back. And now, on the day of the original reporting, I already brought this up on the channel, but basically this story is coming from John Gambadoro. I'll repeat this, but essentially said that when Kawhi signed with the Clippers, the Toronto Raptors owner Larry Tannenbaum was beside himself because he believed he bent over backwards for Kawhi, including calling 3 sponsors to meet Kawhi's demands of an extra $15 million in endorsement money. This is brought to the attention of Adam Silver as a concern over the cheating going on with the league being out of control, but no action was taken as it was thought Tannenbaum didn't truly understand the rules, only a promise to get more serious about things in the future. So, basically wanted extra, some incentives out there from Kawhi after winning a championship in order to stay. Got Larry Tannenbaum to use his connections to get him sponsors. Not nearly as bad as actually funding a shell company and a tree planting organization to give Kawhi a bunch of money. And it's new reports. I don't have the screenshot of it coming out right now, but basically Steve Ballmer took all the blame. He did one of these interviews, did one of these softball questionnaires with Ramona Shelburne from ESPN, and he said, I didn't have anything to do with this. It was all this tree planting company. They defrauded me. What am I doing as one of the richest men in the world, not having my army of lawyers, get finessed by these guys? Whatever, right? He came out and said all the things that he's going to try to say to weasel his way out of the situation. But reports are coming out now that Kawhi Leonard, because they did have some big advertisers for this tree planting agency as well. Guys like Robert Downey Jr., some other big A-list actors, Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff. And apparently Kawhi Leonard was paid a landslide more money than even some of the biggest names out there, not just sports, but entire entertainment. So that seems very far-fetched that an organization like this tree planting company would be willing to do this, especially where Kawhi Leonard did zero promotion for this actual organization. So things get sketchier by the day, but what's the new stuff that's going on? How is the league cracking down on all this whole entire situation? Because essentially news has come out that voiding Kawhi Leonard's contract with the LA Clippers is on the table, according to Sam Amick. I'll bring up the full quote here. Basically, voiding of a player's contract and executive suspensions are on the table. If they can prove that Kawhi Leonard was incentivized to not only stay, but sign a team-friendly deal that gave them more flexibility, this runs counter to what Adam has tried to build and cuts the fabric of the NBA. So, essentially, Kawhi Leonard, there's a very, very real possibility of his contract getting voided by the LA Clippers. And this is something that is very crazy to think about. Now, a lot of Raptors fans specifically, their brains have been going a couple of different places. Firstly, which we talked about a little bit in the most recent video, about how what could the Raptors be given basically as compensation for being a aggrieved party in this whole mess, because Kawhi was on the Toronto Raptors, won a championship. It's crazy that he left, and it's clear as to why. One of the reasons was because of this extra money coming in. And could the Raptors get some compensation? Now, we looked at previous contexts of this happening out there in the NBA, and it's unlikely that the Raptors are going to get anything in regards to anything back because of this whole mess of tampering. And as you can see, the punishment wasn't when this whole Chris Smith drama happened, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The punishment was the T-Wolves getting suspensions, getting draft picks removed. You can read the whole block of text, but nothing going back to the Golden State Warriors. I don't project anything going back to the Toronto Raptors after this whole entire situation happened. And Josh Bloomberg gave some good context here. Illustrated some stuff saying that it's also worth noting that allegations from Pablo Torre report in reference to Kawhi's 2021 extension with the Clippers, not the contract he signed with the Raptors in 2019. So that's all stuff that should be taken into account when expecting, hey, could the Raptors get something here? Well, it's unlikely they're getting something from the league, but other eyes have been, they see this going on here. The contract could be voided. That means Kawhi Leonard would be out there on the open market. I'm not saying there's any real strong likelihood here. I'm not saying, hey, if his contract's voided, we do have to be brought up in the conversation, though. After the mess the LA Clippers have been in over the past, 6 years, 7 years since Kawhi Leonard has left, he wants to go. He might want to go back to a situation, an organization that, with Masai Ujiri, it would have been even more likely there at this point, but we have to at least be on the list. Of course, he wants to be on the West Coast, being LA, close to San Diego and stuff, so the Lakers and Warriors are two teams that you have to bring up, but we're having fun here mid-September speculating. Because you look at Kawhi Leonard, yes, he's always dealing with injuries and stuff, but still last season, 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. And the thing about Kawhi, 34 years old, yes, ton of injuries and stuff, but if you can get him on a contract because his contract's voided, he has to get the minimum, whatever the specific context in this whole situation ends up being. If you insert Kawhi Leonard on this team, man, we would be the most... I'd pick us to win the championship. I don't care. I don't care what it is. We would be one of the deepest. We would be one of the most nasty. We would be absolutely terrifying for the entire NBA. Kawhi doesn't even have to play a bunch. We're so deep. This team would be so deep. This team would have so many guys. Like, you have RJ Barrett, Gradey Dick, Jacoby Walter out the wings. And yes, I know whenever I bring these positional graphs up, Scottie could be the 1, Scottie could be the 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Brandon Ingram, this would be like a positional basketball where, Scottie, Kawhi, Ingram, they're all interchangeable out there on the wings. You have CMB, Ochai Agbaji, James Abel, Jonathan Boba, all those guys out there on the forward spots coming off the bench. You have RJ, Gradey Dick, Jacoby Walter, the nastiest shooting guard bench rotation maybe in league history. And then at the PG spot, right, you have Scottie that can slide down there, but of course Immanuel Quickley, Jamal Shead, guys that are really locked in. Like, defensively, this team would be ferocious. You have Scottie Barnes and Kawhi Leonard out there on the wings ready to go. Jakob Poeltl ready to anchor the paint. That team would be nasty. And then off the bench, you could slot anyone in. CMB, Ochai Agbaji out there on the wings with those dudes. I mean, if you ran a lineup of Scottie Barnes at point, Kawhi at the 2, right, or Ochai at the 2, Kawhi at the 3, CMB at the 4, and then Jakob Poeltl at the 5, like, I don't think a team would score. I don't think a team would score in the Toronto Raptors here at that point. So, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of people that are soured by Kawhi. They look at this whole backdoor situation, question his character, and all those types of things. But basketball-wise, we could have little pipe dreams here and there. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think even if the contract is voided, but it's something that I do want to keep my eyes on because basketball-wise, this team would just be absolutely ferocious. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Would you, in theory, I'm not saying, this is hypothetical now, would you, in theory, want to see Kawhi Leonard back with the Toronto Raptors? Let me know in the comment section down below. You guys are the best. I'm signing out.